should select the way that works best. As with the forward twisting dives, the best place to learn backward and reverse twisters is the trampoline, with spotting equipment. First, a back somersault straight must be performed well. Then the diver must learn a hollow back somersault, called so because, as you see, the front of the body has a hollow shape. This skill teaches the diver the feeling of somersaulting backward without the head back and the body in a big arch, both of which make effective backward twisting difficult. Once this skill has been learned, backward twisting can be started. There are 4 steps to be performed in doing a back somersault with the 1.5 twist. First, do a hollow back somersault. Second, start the hollow back somersault, and when the arms have finished the overhead reach and the feet are leaving the mat, drop the arm on the side to which the twist is being done, down and back, so it points at the trampoline bed. The head and upper body follow the arm, while the other arm remains overhead. As the twist begins, the diver should use the action of the hollow somersault to change from an arched to a straight body line. This movement should be completed at the 1/2 twist position. As the twist continues, the arms stay extended and away from the body. This sequence of movements should be practiced until 3/4 to 1 twist can be done easily. Third, execute steps 1 and 2, and at approximately 1/2 twist, move the arms into the twisting position. The arm on the twisting side bends and moves over the head, while the other arm bends and is moved forcefully across the chest. Keep the arms and elbows as close to the body as possible for maximum speed of twist. Fourth, as the last 1/4 twist takes place, the square out action is started. The same movements as in forward twisting are used. The top arm extends and moves upward and outward in a lateral line, while the bottom arm straightens and moves directly to a lateral position. Watch the same series of movements from a different view. Start the somersault. Drop the arm. Hollow. Arms in. Square. The reverse twisting dives are learned with the same hollow somersault as the foundation. Here's Kent doing a reverse somersault with 1 1/2 twists, using the same motions as backward twisting. The only difference between backward and reverse twisting dives is in the takeoff. For safety reasons, the diver must drive the hips up and forward, as in the reverse optional dives, while the arms move overhead and begin the twisting. When moving to the pool, the hollow back somersault must be learned first, so the diver can flatten the body line in the air, following the arch from the board to initiate the somersault. If the diver has effectively learned the back somersault with 1 1/2 twist on the trampoline, that skill can be performed next. However, if no trampoline is available, a series of attempts at twisting must be made. Jenny does an incredible job here of demonstrating a typical progression of beginning twisting efforts when no spotting work is possible first. Let's watch as she goes through this sequence. Once the basic back somersault with 1 1/2 twists is learned, the door is open to the other backward twisting dives, for the movements are all the same. With backward twisting actions learned, the reverse twisters can be tackled. Again, the diver must learn a good, controlled, hollow reverse somersault first. If this skill cannot be completed relatively easily, it is not yet time to introduce twisting. However, when the diver is ready, the same movements are made as in back twisters, but as pointed out, the mechanics of takeoff for reverse somersault optionals must be followed to assure safe distance. Here Kent does the reverse 1 1/2 somersault with 1 1/2 twists and the reverse 1 1/2 somersault with 3 1/2 twists from different angles, so you can study the motions. Now watch a series of forward, backward, and reverse twisting dives so you can analyze just what should be done and when. Platform diving is easier and less complicated than springboard diving because the takeoff surface is stationary and most of the dives done have been learned from the springboard first. Since the mechanics of the dives performed in this segment have already been examined in the springboard presentation, we will not focus on those techniques, but rather on the methods of takeoff and the basic skills in dives which should be learned from the 1 and 5 meter platforms. The forward takeoff should first be learned in the standing position. The diver starts with the arms straight, parallel, and overhead. The first and extremely important movement of the takeoff is to shift the balance forward over the edge of the platform to assure proper distance. Then, with the head kept still, the body weight drops down by bending at the hips and knees in preparation for the push-off. As the body extends and the diver jumps, the arms and upper body move upward and forward to begin the dive rotation. Taking off backward is easiest performed by using the two-part press used in springboard takeoffs. The arms begin at the sides and lift laterally to a position approximately 45 degrees above horizontal. Be sure to keep the arms in line with or slightly in front of the body line. The head should remain still throughout the takeoff. As the arms pass shoulder height, the ankles extend and the diver rises up on the toes. This is part 1. Then the arms begin to circle back and down as the body crouches into a jumping position. Part 2. When the body begins its downward movement, it is important that the weight be shifted backward through the hips in order to achieve proper distance. The ankle should remain slightly above the platform level to keep the diver from losing balance backward. As the arms pass the legs and begin to swing up, the body begins its extension. At the point of takeoff, the legs should be extended and the arms straight and parallel overhead. The reverse takeoff involves the same two-part motion as the backward takeoff. However, As the arms pass shoulder height, the balance should be shifted forward over the feet to accomplish good distance from the platform. The rest of the press and jump are the same. There are two methods of performing the inward takeoff. The technique which should be learned first starts with the arms straight and overhead. The body is straight and the heels level or slightly above platform level. To start the takeoff, the diver lifts up high on the toes. As a stretch up through the body, shoulders, and arms takes place to put the diver in a high position, so a strong downward drop of the body weight and corresponding rebound from the legs can occur. As the diver sits down into the platform, the balance should be maintained on the balls of the feet and the head kept level. The arms can bend into a cocked position to aid the throwing motion, as long as they don't get too far behind the head, which would cause a loss of balance. The legs then begin their extension and push as the arms, head, and upper body move in an upward, outward, and downward direction, and the hips drive up and out. The coordination of these actions causes rotation and good distance to occur. After the overhead inward takeoff is mastered, you may wish to try the second technique. This starts with the arms at the sides. They are then lifted laterally to a straight and parallel position overhead. As they reach this position, the ankles extend and the diver rises high on the toes. It is important through this phase that no backward movement away from the platform takes place. From this point on, the press and takeoff are the same as in the overhead takeoff starting method. Although either takeoff method is effective, the advantage of this technique is that it gives the diver more upward momentum and feeling of rhythmic movement in the beginning phase, allowing a stronger drop and push from the platform in the final takeoff. These 4 takeoffs with the jumps and dives just demonstrated should be practiced until proper balance, distance, and control of the movements is attained. The next takeoff which should be learned is the running front approach. The beginner should start with the simple walk and arm lift method shown by Wendy. The diver takes 3 or more steps in a long, low hurdle to the end of the platform. The arms are lifted gradually in a lateral path to an overhead position during the last 3 steps prior to the hurdle. The diver should take the same number of steps and start with the same leg as in the forward springboard approach to eliminate confusion between the two. The key to this in all forward running approaches is to have the arms set overhead and the upper body vertical before the landing on the end of the platform. The hurdle should be from 3 to 5 feet long, depending on the size of the diver and the speed of the run used. The hurdle is performed by placing the heel down first and moving the weight forward over the foot, then pushing off in a low trajectory to the end of the platform. The legs are brought together quickly after the push-off, and the knees and hips are kept slightly bent and in front of the upper body in preparation for the landing. The arms and upper body remain still, as does the head. The eyes should be focused on the end of the platform through the jump, and the line of sight shifted to the water in front prior to landing, so the head can be kept level during the takeoff. The landing is made on the balls of the feet with the ankles, knees, and hips flexed and ready to spring immediately into the takeoff. This approach with forward jump should be practiced until good distance and control are achieved. After considerable training and experience with the walking approach, a running approach can be developed. There are probably as many variations of the running forward approach as there are platform divers. Wendy does a 4-step run, Jenny a 6-step, and Kent a 3-step. They all have different arm patterns and rhythms, and you can study and copy the approach or combination of styles you like best. However, they all have the same basic fundamentals. Let's compare them. Wendy swings her arms forward prior to the first step to establish a rhythm. She brings them back to her legs and up to a shoulder-high lateral position in the first step. then down to the sides and forward and up in front to horizontal in the second step. While jumping from the second to the third step, the arms are started again toward the body and then up laterally to shoulder height in the fourth step. As the approximately 5-foot-long hurdle begins, by placing the heel down first, the arms continue to move overhead as the eyes look at the end of the platform and the body is vertical. During the hurdle, the legs come together and the arms reach a straight overhead position. Prior to landing, the eyes shift their focus to the water in front. The body is piked and the legs and feet are in front of the body on landing to block the momentum of the run and allow a transition of movement from forward to upward, resulting in the proper angle of takeoff. The landing is made on the balls of the feet. Jenny does a mixture of the walk and run methods. On the first step, her arms stay at her sides. In the second step, they swing forward and upward. During the third step, they swing back to the body. In the fourth step, they move forward and up again to horizontal at shoulder level, just like Wendy. During the fifth and sixth steps, Jenny brings her arms down toward the body and up laterally to shoulder height prior to the hurdle, places her foot down heel first, and takes a low 4.5-foot hurdle to the end. During the hurdle, the upper body is vertical, and the arms move overhead while the legs come together prior to the landing. Landing is made on the balls of the feet, with the legs in front of the upper body to control the forward momentum. Since Kent uses a 3-step run, his arms must move through the swing pattern earlier. Prior to the first step, he lifts his arms laterally to prepare for the forward and upward swing of the arms to the horizontal position in the first step. Then, using a skip-type movement, Kent takes his second step while bringing the arms back to the body and laterally upward. He places his heel on the platform to start the hurdle, while continuing the arms to the overhead position. A low 5-foot hurdle is taken, and the arms reach the overhead position with the upper body vertical and the legs together prior to landing. The landing occurs on the balls of the feet, with the knees and hips flexed and the legs in front of the body, similar to Wendy and Jenny. As you watch these 3 approaches again in slow motion, you should now be aware of the fact that they look so different, but yet are fundamentally exactly the same. After you construct your approach, practice it with the open pike forward dive shown here to learn balance and control of the takeoff and distance. With these takeoffs as the foundation, other dives can now be done from the 1-meter platform in preparation for the 5-meter level and heights beyond. Keep in mind that what dives are performed at either level depend on the diver's skill and experience. Learn the basics and the easy optionals first, and well, before pushing on to the harder dives. From the standing forward takeoff, practice the forward somersault, tuck, and pike. With the running takeoff, the forward somersault and/or the 1.5 somersault in the tuck and pike positions. The backward somersault, tuck, and pike. Reverse somersault, tuck, and the inward somersault tuck. If you don't have a 1-meter platform, some of these somersaults can still be practiced from the side of the pool. If your deck is not high enough to make the dives, a small platform or bench can be used to make them possible. This kind of practice is also beneficial for learning basic somersault technique, which helps both springboard and platform performance. The 5-meter platform is the most versatile of all platform levels. It allows the greatest number of skills to be practiced, from entries to basic dives to optionals. This height is used in age group and some senior competitions, and also provides excellent preparation for learning dives at the 7.5 and 10-meter levels. The first skills that need to be mastered here are the jumps. Most divers tend to lean away from the platform on takeoffs and lose balance and control. The higher the platform, the more disastrous the results. Jumps at this level, through repetition, teach the diver to jump strongly while staying in control of balance and distance. This skill can then be transferred to other takeoffs. The standing forward jump should be practiced first. Then the standing backward jump. Notice how Wendy has perfect distance and does not have to move in the air to maintain balance. The third type of jump is more difficult, a front jump with a running approach. This drill really tests the diver's ability to exert force with control. When the diver can do this, like Wendy has, with good distance and great balance, control of the dives will be easy. The next set of skills to be practiced are the stationary lineup and entry drills. These teach control of the body